suddenly time for me to go grocery shopping, yes. But maybe I'd see my friend Lotte and have a nice cup of tea. Yeah, that would be nice. Oh. There's this virus, yes. I actually forgot about the exit lock. But yeah, don't go outside. I'm so thankful for all these reminders. Dear sister, do you remember the governmental restrictions?
Yes, absolutely. I was just going to go to the market to get some fresh fruit, but oh dear, I have to wear my mask. It's so hard for me to have usual tasks like this, to perform that. Like yesterday, I tried to call my granddaughter, but the keys on the phone, they are so small.
Hello, Grandma. Why didn't you call me back? I was starting to worry about you. Please, call me back. I told them to let me know if they have any problems. I usually visit them to help with chores, as it has been really difficult with my grandma's Parkinson and my great-aunt's Alzheimer's disease.
What you just saw is a representation of struggles many elderly people face every day. Maybe you already have experienced similar situations for yourself. You find yourself searching for your sunglasses just for them to turn out to have been on your head the entire time. Of course, once in a while every one of us forgets things, but imagine this affecting your daily life so much that you start to be dependent on other people's help. It will become a serious restriction to your independence and quality of life. In Germany, early diagnoses of neurodegenerative diseases are made at the age of 40, the most common one being dementia, with a prevalence of more than 1.6 million people in Germany. Medical predictions expect an increase of 100% by 2050. In addition to that, there are currently 220,000 people suffering from the well-known motoric disease Parkinson's only in Germany, numbers increasing by 20,000 new diagnoses per year. We know many appearing deficits related to aging. To understand this degenerative process, it is important to look at the neuronal causes. Neuroplasticity describes the biological principle of connections within the neurons in our body. This includes losses of connections between nerve cells as well as forming new links. These conjunctions within the nervous system are essential for reception, transmission, and interpretation of signals by the brain. The more these connections are used, the more likely they are to grow further. This is the scientific background to our learning processes. However, those links can be lost in the same way. We forget something. It all comes down to use it or lose it. As soon as we stop using neuronal connections, they start degenerating and get lost sooner or later. On this slide, you can see very clearly how the cognitive ability proceeds over the course of different ages. It increases steeply at first, then stagnates for a long time before it begins to decrease in old age. Dementia very strongly promotes a decrease in cognitive ability. Käpsele intervenes exactly at this point and slows down this process. Dementia cannot be stopped, but cognitive training flattens the curve. This raises the question how to slow down this degeneration. Many studies show that training in the mentioned fields has very positive effects on the maintenance of neuronal performance. This is particularly beneficial if the training is designed to be a fun spare time exercise rather than an obligation. An example are games which include memory tasks, exercises of the mathematical field, or tasks of linguistic competence. This can be summarized with the well-known term brain jogging. On the other hand, there are games meant for physical fitness and motoric abilities. Our solution, however, is designed as a holistic approach to maintain both the cognitive and motoric ability. We aim to provide a joyful gaming experience due to the diversity of exercises, which creates a relief for caregivers and increases quality of life for the players in the long run. Science shows a vivid induction between cognition and motoric function. Therefore, we combine all these positive aspects together in our game Käpsele. The combination of both fields in a holistic way promises to have a significantly better impact on learning than conventional products. Let's move from theory to practice. Our game works as follows. The players sit in a circle. Each player draws an object from a card box, one after another. There are 6 items, each of which represents a category: music, movement, memory, computer tasks, language, and machines. If an object is drawn, the corresponding task category is selected, and the player whose turn it is solves the task. They can choose between 3 levels of difficulty so that the game can be adjusted to the individual needs. If the player answers the question correctly, he or she earns a point. If he or she needs help, the task can be solved together with the group. For some physical tasks, support is explicitly required. It is important that the players understand the game as what it is, a game that should be fun. It is about training cognitive and physical abilities in a playful way, without pressure to perform and without competition. In the end, there is no winner, only fitter elderly people. Due to the current situation, which caused production stops, we unfortunately are not able to present you a professional prototype, but we hope you can imagine it with this drawing. Our game includes the following items: a ball, a cube, a rattle, a speech bubble, a lavender sachet, and a mini car. These items, as well as the playing cards, are stored in a box made of wood. For us, it is very important to produce the game under fair and socially sustainable conditions. Luckily, we were able to build a cooperation with the Bruderhausdiakonie, which is a local organization for workshops for disabled people, having 2 locations in Bad Urach and Reutlingen. This is where our gaming cards and items will be produced. The production of the lavender sachet is planned in Tübingen with our Enactus teammates from another project group, der Grüne Faden. Enactus Tübingen will store the compiled game and will be responsible for the marketing, selling and shipping. Vinzenz von Paul is only one of many potential daycare facilities for elderly in Tübingen which are interested in our game. Let's talk about our business concept. Based on feedback from facilities for the elderly in Tübingen, we know the willingness to pay is between 70 and 100 euros. Based on the workshop's catalog and our production request, we estimate the price of the gaming items to be about 15 euros and for the box to cost around 18 euros. For the print and lamination of the cards, we received a cost estimate of 31 euros per game from our partner, the Bruderhausdiakonie. Our playing cards are designed and produced for senior citizens. For example, they are laminated for easy cleaning and have rounded corners to avoid the risk of cuts. So in total, the profit margin of 10 euros and 80 cents covers the costs of production and taxes, leaving space for marketing. Speaking of, marketing is one of the future steps that we would like to briefly introduce to you. First of all, we, as any startup, need a professional prototype mentioned above. The prototype can be produced as soon as the workshop's production stop due to the current situation will end. With the professionally produced prototype, we will go to elderly daycares and conduct tests of our game as we did before with the self-made prototype. After completing the second test phase, there are 2 major steps. On the one hand, we will start going into production. The costs for the first productions are covered by sponsorship from our university, which subsidizes creative charitable projects with 500 euros. First, 10 pieces shall be produced, which we plan to sell locally. Some demands are already there. Several elderly daycares in which we tested our game have expressed their interest in buying. Elderly daycares are our main targets. However, the customer segment can be broadened to local community centers and families, since our game offers a lot of flexibility. On the other hand, we want to develop a marketing concept that enables us to sell the game across Germany. Sales are planned to be organized via a website, specialized newsletters, and catalogs addressing medical issues to reach as many daycare facilities as possible. Margarete and her sister, the two women you saw in the video at the beginning of this presentation, are limited in their everyday lives due to their neurodegenerative diseases. Even their social environment is very concerned about the health condition of the two women. Based on what you learned in our presentation, you now know that these diseases cannot be stopped, but cognitive and motoric training can slow down the process. Käpsele is the first playful training that promotes both areas and can therefore maintain the quality of life of the players. And not only the players themselves, but also the nursing staff and relatives can be relieved. We are therefore certain that such a game will be successful in the market and can have a positive effect on cognitive and motoric abilities of the elderly. This also shows in its name Käpsele, which comes from Swabian dialect and means smart. This combines all positive aspects of your game, together from the idea to the gameplay to its positive long-time impact. Autonomy is one of the most important personal goods, and this should be preserved for elderly with or without neurodegenerative diseases for as long as possible. Thank you very much for your attention and stay healthy. Sincerely yours, Team Käpsele from Enactus Tübingen.